All right, let's work on page 2 of our notes. Now we're going to talk about defined terms. These are terms that have definitions and some specifications to them. The first one that we're going to talk about here is a segment. An example of a segment would be something that looks like this. Maybe the dog bone that you see in the picture there, or a pencil. How is that different than a line? Well, a segment starts and then it stops. Notice that it does not have arrows on both sides. If we want to name this, we can name this segment AB. When we write it in a sentence or in a problem, we write it exactly the way it looks. We draw the two letters, the A and the B, and we put just a segment bar above the top above it. Notice that there are no arrows. We can also flip around the letters, and if we call it BA, that would be the exact same segment. It only takes two letters to name a segment. If you have a different segment, you just use different letters. X, Y. That is a segment, two letters. Then, what about the next term, the endpoint? Well, the endpoint is something that looks like these. The endpoint is actually this part of the wheels, or it's the weights on the dumbbell. The endpoint are really the points on the end. End of a segment. So in this case, we have X and Y as our endpoints. It's just the place where your segment stops. The next term that we have is a ray. A ray is something that looks like one of these. It's the shooting star, or it's the cul-de-sac. What do you notice about those? When you look at these, a ray is something that starts and then it has a tail that goes on forever. Same with this cul-de-sac. It's here and then the road goes on forever. So a cul-de-sac is really a combination of a segment and a line. It has an endpoint and then it goes on through that. So if we name this one, we have an A and a B on there. The important thing to know here is the starting number is the first letter in the name. If my ray faces in a different direction, then I still have to start on the left with the starting number. So right there is where it starts. You cannot name this backwards. It has to go in one direction. The arrow on the top should always point to the right. Then we have what's called opposite rays. Opposite rays are things that look like these. The hands on the clock, the 6 o'clock, or the backward and forward sign. What do you notice there? That they have a point in the middle and they go in two different directions. So when you make opposite rays, it's really just a line that's divided up in the middle. So wherever it starts, it will have a point on either side. The opposite rays, one of them goes in one direction and the other goes in the other direction. Notice that they both start at A. So when I name them, I name it AB and AC. Notice that both of the arrows point to the right note that here. Even though in the picture, one of them points down. Those three lines all fall, or those 3 points all fall on the same line. Which brings us to our next term, collinear. The prefix co means together. Think of like cooperate. That's when you work together in a group. If you have a co-ed softball team, that's when you have boys and girls that work together on the same team. The prefix co means together, and this means a line. So collinear means together on a line. A, B, and C. We can have more than 3. We can put on D and E. It would be something that would look like these. The buttons going down the front of the shirt, maybe the knots on this string right here, or the lights at the top of those light posts. They are collinear together on a line. To name those, we have points A, B, C, D, and E. They are all on the same line. Is F collinear with the others? It is not collinear. It is not on the same line as A, B, C, D, and E. Then we have 2 terms left, coplanar. Again, the prefix co, together. And on a plane. So what are we going to put? We're going to put stuff on a plane. Most of the time we talk about points. So we have points A, B, C, and D that are all together on that plane. Then, what if I draw a line behind it that goes through the plane and I put a point down here, E? Is E coplanar with A, B, C, and D? No, this is not coplanar. My coplanar points are A, B, C, and D. I have some examples of coplanar also. I have those coplanar ducks on pond, and I have those coplanar flower of fields, or field of flowers. All of those flowers, the sunflowers look like they're all on the same plane on the top of that field. Then the last term that we have on this page is the term intersection. And an intersection is exactly what you think it might be. An intersection is where things cross. The easiest example would be these roads right here, where they intersect right there. Or you see on these windows, you can see the intersection right here. Or if you look real closely, you see all of the panes of glass, and you see intersections when they make the glass. An intersection is simply where things cross. So if I draw 2 lines and I want them to intersect at point X, then I would put X in the middle. A, B is intersecting C, D at point X. Look above. What is the intersection of the line and the plane in the problem above? And that would be D. That is where the line crosses the plane. That's the end of page 2. We'll stop right here. If you want extra practice, you can go on to the page 3 video.